Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about 300 Blackout, which I'm going to define as like an AK-47 round, but for girls. Okay, so I've got two steel rims here. The one on the left over here is from like a small truck, like an F-250. The one on the right is like from a small car. So I shot the 300 Blackout out of the 16-inch barrel over here, and the best that it's going to do on a small truck rim is dent it. No penetration. Okay. Now, when I shot it through the or at the small car rim, yeah, basically it penetrated. If it went straight in, if it hit it at an angle or anything, it just basically dented. Okay. So yes, it will penetrate a small car rim, but if you go to a small truck, like I said, like an F-250 or something, or 2500, all you're going to do is get a dent. Okay, now ignore these holes. Those are for the AK-47. We're going to talk about those in a minute, okay? So what I did is, after shooting this with the 300 Blackout, okay, I pulled out, oh, that's also 300 Blackout down here. I mean, I kept working at this, man. I was trying to get, you know, I was trying to make it work, man, but it wasn't happening, okay? I shot it with 223 out of a 16-inch barrel. Okay, so the 223 out of a 16-inch barrel, I got holes, man. Right? Okay, so this area over here is reinforced because that's where this meets this. So that's why, like over here, I'm ignoring, on the 300, I'm ignoring these hits here, right? And I'm looking at these over here because that's not doubled up steel. So it just dented over here, okay? The 223 basically went through like a laser. Like over here where it's reinforced, it did not go through, but it almost actually did. No, it did go through. Look at that. It actually went through over there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 actual holes with the 223. So let's compare the 300 Blackout to the 223 for a second. Just those two, because a lot of guys are like, one of the reasons why they use 300 Blackout is because they think it's a good hunting round, okay? Now, I don't know what ammunition they're shooting, okay? I mean, I shot this with American Eagle and with the Freedom Munitions 300 Blackout. So, I don't know. I mean, are the hunting loads that much more powerful? I'm going to go through some data with you guys when we go back to the table, okay? But on this steel, like, I mean, I can clearly see that the 223, okay, and this isn't like green tips. If these were green tips, they'd be going through probably both sides of this thing. Okay, these are not green tips. These are like just budget target ammo. In fact, it was Igman. That's what I shot this with. That's Igman 223 that went through this truck rim. The 300 Blackout could not go through it, right? Even after multiple attempts. So then I went to the AK-47 16-inch barrel. No surprise, that went through like a freaking laser. 4 holes right here. And actually, the rim apparently turned a little bit. So it came through here, and I got more holes over there. Because I could hear the impacts. I'm like, wait a second, I got more hits than that. But yeah, the rim turned a little bit, and it impacted back there. That's the one that you saw back up here on this side. Okay. So since the AK did so well, I pulled out the 10-inch AK, right? 10-inch. And even the 10-inch, right? 10-inch AK-47 made it through the steel, okay? So even the 10-inch AK did better than the 16-inch 300 Blackout, okay? Now, just out of curiosity, actually that's also from the 10-inch. Even at the angle, the 10-inch, like, put a nice dent in this one. It actually took a chip through here. That's a 10-inch, right? Because that was on the edge. Chipped this out, and then went and still made a good impact there. So even the 10-inch AK-47 is going to do way better than your 300 Blackout, even if it has a 16-inch barrel. Okay, so again, these are the dents. The best we could get was dents. Okay, and like I said, it did manage to get through the car rim, which I didn't even bother to shoot with any of the other ammunition because I know that like 223 and AKs are just going to Swiss cheese this. Okay. Now, out of curiosity, I also I did some accuracy testing. I didn't do a whole lot of rounds. I mean, I basically threw 4 shots at 100 yards, and it got about an inch, inch and a quarter to an inch and a half. So not surprising. I mean, I expected it to be accurate. If I work hard enough at this, I'm sure that I'll get this down to an inch. Okay, I'll work on this another day. Today wasn't a great day for accuracy testing, right? Because it's windy. It winds like on and off. So yeah, let's go back to the table and let's talk a little bit more. I wanted to talk about this down here because I didn't want to have to carry these rims all the way back over there. But yeah, the 300 Blackout, man, really disappointing. I don't know how guys hunt with this, right? Or why they would prefer this, the 300 Blackout, versus just standard 223, which actually puts holes in the steel, which to me means that, yeah, it's going to penetrate deeper into an animal. All right, let's go back to the table. All right, so let me show you guys the guns real quick that we're using. So that's the Palmetto AR-15 that we're using, 16-inch barrel, AK-47. I know it looks kind of weird without the magazine in there. There you go. Now it looks like an AK-47. Okay. So that's the 16-inch, and this here is the 10-inch. Okay, again, it looks weird without a magazine. There you go. So that's the 10-inch. All right. So hold on. Let me get to the other. All right. So here we got the 300 Blackout that I was using. So that's the SIG MCX. Okay. This is on loan from a friend of mine, testing it out. Basically, I mean, I want to do a review on this, but I need to basically practice with this rifle and get to know it a little bit better. And testing out the 300 Blackout seemed like a good way to get that done. Okay, so these are the 2 ammunitions I was using for 300 Blackout: the American Eagle, 150 grains, and the Freedom Munition, 147 grains. Okay, let me hang this camera up on the tripod, and we'll talk a little bit. All right, so first of all, let me give you guys another look at this beautiful SIG MCX that I'm gonna be doing a review. I don't know, probably in a week or 2 after I've had enough time behind this gun shooting it. So let's put this down for a second. So yeah, I mean, the gun's working great, man, but I am a little disappointed with the 300 Blackout. Okay, because I always kind of pictured 300 Blackout as an AK round, right, for an AR-15. I thought that they would be a lot more similar. When you go online and you look at the energies, they usually quote both of them like pretty similar, somewhere around 1,400 to 1,500 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. Okay, so that's why I was kind of expecting the results to be a lot closer. Okay, now this is a situation. Now, first of all, the energy results that are usually quoted online, unless it's somebody like me that's actually running it through a chronograph, the energy results that are usually quoted are above what they actually are. And the reason for that is because they don't test these things out on 16-inch barrels. They test them out on like 24 and 26 8-inch barrels. Okay, so the energy numbers that you see online are always going to be like way over what they actually are. So I did run this through chronograph, I think yesterday and today. It was like a 2-day project, getting all this data, and this is a situation where it's like the results actually are less than what the numbers indicate, right? The numbers indicate that the results should be better. So let's look at these numbers. Let me get behind the camera here. All right, so on right side here, I got 300 Blackout. On the left side here, I've got AK-47. Hold on, let me just take off my glasses so I can see this better. Hold on, put my glasses on. Okay, so let's ignore the 8-inch, right? Because these are 8-inch numbers up there, because we didn't even bother shooting this 300 black. We didn't bother shooting the rims with the 8-inch barrel, so we just did 16-inch, which is down here. So with the American Eagle, 5-shot groups. Okay, they're the individual numbers. Okay, American Eagle, we got the average was 18 velocity of 1850. Okay, now the variance was nice, like only 41. That's the difference between your fastest and your slower shot. So that to me, like even before I tried shooting a grouping on this, that indicates to me that that's going to be like a one MOA or better, right? The fact that that variance is so small, okay? And then I shot it with the Freedom munitions, again, 147 grain, 5-shot group, okay? Average there was 1872, okay? Variance of 60. So again, that's a pretty tight variance. So again, energy, let's look at the energies, right? Energy 1177 on the American Eagle, okay, 1,177 foot-pounds, and then Freedom munitions was 1,144 foot-pounds, okay? These are the momentum numbers here. They're about close to 40. So since the American Eagle was giving me a higher energy, right, slightly higher velocity, I shot the rim with the American Eagle. That's the one I was working with, okay? So 1177 is usually what I get out of like 223, right, out of 16-inch barrel. You know, it's usually about 1150. You know, now if I shoot it with green tips, it can go up close to 1200. Okay, so I didn't bother shooting that rim today out there with the green tips because it just, I mean, I know what it would have done. I mean, if the 223 can go through that truck rim, the green tips will go right through it. Okay, so we're just comparing target ammo here. So American Eagle 1177. Now compare that to the AK-47. Okay, so I shot it with Red Army, which is 1341. Okay, so again, we did 5-shot groups. The velocity of 2225, variance 66. So the Red Army actually gave me very tight variances, which to me is an indication of like I should be able to get close to 1 MOA in the AK-47 with Red Army. The reason why I really can't get it is because it's hard to mount good optics on an AK, right? The side mounts are not really good. You know, the red dot over the gas tube is the best way to go, but I can't put a magnifier behind it. But using this Red Army with variances of like somewhere between 40 and 66, I should be able to get close to 1 MOA because that I've done this enough times, and that's usually when I see tight variances like this, those are the groups that I get. Okay, so on the 16-inch we got 1340, right, compared to the 1177, right? So that's but that's not what I used today. I used the Tula, which again is very common ammo with 16-inch barrel with the Tula. 5-shot groups, velocity 2250, energy 1372. Okay, so we're approaching 1400, but not quite there. And I did it again down here. Now, if you notice, the variance here was more. It was like 89. So with the Tula, I tend to see wider groups. Okay, let's see, 16-inch again down here. 5-shot group, velocity 2245, energy 1365. Variance opened up to 180. Okay, so that's like when I get that much of a velocity difference between my groups, that's when I usually see like 3 to 4 inch groups at 100 yards. Okay, but here's the thing: the variance was on the plus side, right? Because here I see one of these velocities go up to 2337. So if I do just an energy calculation just on that number, I'm up to like 1479. Okay, of energy. But let's just go with the average. So if we look at the, let's go with this one over here. Actually, let's go with the 1365. So we got 1365 versus 1144. You know, it's like, I mean, that's the difference. I expected the, you know, I expected it to perform at least as good as the 223. Okay. Hey, quick afterthought, because I was thinking about the energy difference between the AK and the 300 Blackout, which is about 200 foot-pounds. I'm wondering if the bullet construction of the AK round is playing a role here. Okay, maybe the Russian bullets have a heavier metal inside the bullet construction. But then to counter that, the 223 round, which is Igman, still did better than the 300 Blackout. Okay, so there's that to consider. I really expected that it would have penetrated the truck rim when the 223 is able to penetrate the truck rim. By the way, you guys are gonna have to pardon my voice. I have a little bit of a cold, but the show must go on, guys. I wasn't gonna sit around twiddling my thumbs waiting for my throat to get better. I feel good, so we're shooting. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I've been working on this now for a couple of days. I think I started maybe probably on my 5th day of playing around with the 300 Blackout, which made me go back and work on the AK-47 a little bit more, try to get some more data on that. And I'm kind of disappointed. Now, the question I have, right, is these guys that are out there hog hunting, right, with 300 Blackout, what the hell are they using, okay? And are they sure that they wouldn't get better results with 223 soft points, right? Because they make both AK-47 rounds and 223 rounds, right, with soft tips that you could use for hunting, okay, that will expand. So my question is, what are they using? Have they actually run it through a chronograph? Have they actually done some testing? Are they actually shooting the better ammunition? Okay, I don't know, because I don't know what these hog hunters that use 300 Blackout are actually using, but I mean, I did my testing. I got 2 different types of ammunition here. The results are what they are. Okay. Now the other thing that I'm thinking about here, right, is if you're thinking of going 300 Blackout, like, you really got to ask yourself why. Why do you want the 300 Blackout? Now, one of the things I like about the 300 Blackout, it is very smooth. Okay, so I'm shooting it, and man, it feels like the recoil actually feels like less than a 5.56, less than 5.56 223. It is very smooth, and you know, it has a very smooth impulse. I shot it in both this 16-inch MCX barrel. I shot it in an 8-inch, you know, gas impingement barrel. Very smooth, feels really nice. So aside from that, right, because like I said, if you want 300 Blackout so your daughter can shoot it, yeah, man, this stuff is really, you know, very light recoiling, okay, especially if you have an adjustable gas block like my 8-inch does. That really light recoiling. So is that why you want it? Because you want really light recoil? Do you want it because you want to put a suppressor on the gun and shoot subsonic ammunition? If that's what you want to do, yeah, that kind of makes sense, right? I don't have a suppressor to test that out and do a video on that. Hopefully, now that Trump's in office, you know, suppressors will come out of the NFA, and I'll get a couple of those. Okay, I didn't want to go through the NFA. I didn't want to bother with all that paperwork. So that would be a good reason to get the 300 Blackout. If you're going for anything else, I mean, I would consider the 6.5 Grendel. Might be a better choice, because 6.5 Grendel will get you out to a further distance. Okay, I've recently did a video on that. The reason why I haven't gotten into 6.5 Grendel is, like, for me, a 6.5 Grendel is like if I'm going to use that, I'm trying to get 2,000 yards. And if I'm going to be driving, because I got, like, to get to the 1,000-yard range, it's like 4 hours both ways, so it's 8 hours. And usually when I'm there, I've got like maybe 4 hours of daylight, now in the winter time, to actually shoot. So if I'm going to drive, if I'm going to do 8 hours of driving, I'm not going there with a 6.5 Grendel. I'm going there with a 308. Okay, so that's kind of the reason why I haven't jumped on the 6.5 Grendel. But the thing is, though, if you're considering the 300 Blackout, I mean, I don't know, maybe think about a 6.5 Grendel. That might be a better choice for you. Or maybe you're just better off just sticking with 223, right? 5.56. So my point here is that, you know, think about why. If you want to get a 300 Blackout, think about why. Why do you want it? What are you trying to accomplish? I mean, obviously, it's a slower bullet. It's going to drop even more than an AK round, right? Because in the past, I would say that, hey, the 300 Blackout is going to have the same bullet path, the same trajectory as an AK-47 round. Well, it's going slower, so it's gonna drop even more, okay? So you're going to have even more of a drop with the 300 Blackout at distance, right? You can look back at the velocity numbers I posted in the book, and you can see that. So it's going to have more of a drop. So, again, the question is, why the 300 Blackout? Okay, again, unless you got like a teenage daughter and you're looking for a really light recoiling gun, the 300 Blackout might be it, okay? But if you guys can think of any other reasons, by all means, let me know, okay? But for me, like, the thing that sticks out the most is the suppressor thing, right? You can have supersonic ammo, and you can have subsonic ammo, and you can do a quick swap from one to the other. You know, of course, you would want to use maybe an LPVO that has, you know, where you have like different holding points, right? Where you know that, okay, I'm going to zero in, let's say at the chevron, right? But if I'm shooting subsonics, I'm going to hold, let's say 3 mils low, right? That'll be my aiming point. Okay, so I'm just pulling that out. Like, I don't actually know, but an LPVO that has a bullet drop might be useful if you're going back and forth between subsonics and subsonics, because there's going to be a big drop, a big shift. Okay, so that might be a reason why you want to do it. But if you guys can think of any other reason why anybody should get into 300 Blackout, other than, yeah, it's fun. I mean, yeah, it feels really good to shoot. Let me know. Put in the comments, and I will talk to you soon. So I did a little bit more thinking on this 300 Blackout, and I guess what I'm really trying to say is I wish they would load these things hotter, okay? I don't know. I mean, I know the case is a little bit smaller than the AK-47 round, but I think that they can load these a little bit hotter and get a little bit more energy out of these and be more competitive with the 7.62x3.9, okay? So I think that they should consider that. And I have to think that the hunters that are hunting hogs are shooting hotter loads than what I was using today. So if that's possible, right, it should be standardized, okay? Now, one more thing I want to add is if you do shoot 300 Blackouts, make sure that you do not mix this up with your 223, okay? Because if you, like, slowly try to chamber this into a 223 rifle, it should not chamber. However, it is possible for the bullet to get pushed back, in which case the bolt will close and the gun will blow up in your face. Okay, so that's one of the things that you gotta be really careful about with these 300 Blackouts if you have them. You know, keep them far away from your 223s. Make it almost impossible for you to mix these things up, because, like I said, and I tried it. I mean, it won't chamber into a 5.56 rifle, but if you send the bolt home and then you try to use the forward assist on this, the bullet will get pushed back, and the bolt will close, and you will be able to pull the trigger, and you will get a big kaboom in your face.